Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Harveen Kaur and today we're gonna answer the most Google questions about studying abroad, especially in the UK because I myself have studied in Manchester. I completed my graduation in 2019 and now I'm gonna help you guys figure out the same.
Let me read first. Let me prepare first. So
Now I've got myself lemon water. Guys, help yourself out if you are craving it or if you guys want to stay hydrated. So many of you guys out there who are planning to study abroad like have so many unanswered questions which they just wish somebody could answer, somebody could help them with. So here I am, your angel, guys. Okay, I think I'm just too confident right now. Now I'm gonna answer a few study abroad questions. First one is going to be, can you still apply for UK universities? So it's May right now, which means many of you guys must think that it's too late to apply for UK universities right now. But as long as you're not applying for Oxford, Cambridge or UCL, ICL, you can still apply for UK universities. Most of them take in students until like end of July, and accommodation issues might be there, but it's still possible to like you'll figure it out. So yes, you can still apply for UK universities at this stage right now. Universities accept applications I guess until end of August for UK students and end of July for maybe international students. It's because they need to apply for the visa as well. So yes, you guys, it's not late. If you want to apply for UK universities, you can do that. I myself applied very late, actually around June, July, end of June, not July, it must be June. And yeah, I got and I studied in Manchester and I'm a graduate, so you guys can do it as well. And yeah, it online it states that it's usually recommended to apply by January, which is true, but if you haven't already, it doesn't mean you won't get it. So yeah, don't lose hope and go and apply, and good luck with your application. So the second one is going to be, if it is recommended to apply through some agent or can you do it yourself on your own? So I know there are many organizations like the Chopras who help students get admission into universities abroad, but the fact is that I feel if you guys meet the basic requirements, uh, then I don't think you really need an agent for your application, to be honest, because what they do is that they just fill in your formalities, but you can do that yourself. It's basic and you're a school graduate, so it should be easy for you guys to do that. So yeah, I don't think you need one. I think you just need to follow the instructions. It's pretty clear on the UCAS website. That's where you have to apply if you're applying for undergraduate courses. For postgraduate courses, you need to just apply directly through the university website. Like it's pretty direct. You just need to read the instructions properly and you guys can do it on your own. You don't need an agent. I did it myself. Yeah, if you have some questions you can call and ask them up, but you really don't need them. And yeah, just meet the basic requirements and you're good to go. What are the main requirements to get in? Okay, so in relation to the previous question, I studied in a CBSE school, so for me it was basically getting the percentage, which is usually around 80 to 85% for good universities or for University of Manchester, I would say. And for UCL, ICL it could be 90%, and I guess it should be similar for ICSE kids as well, but I don't know about other curricular. Yeah, I don't know about other schools. And other than that, you obviously need an English exam. You need to pass an English exam, which could be TOEFL or IELTS. IELTS is the most common one which people go for. And other than that, you need to write a personal statement and then you need references. For personal statement, I'm sure I was very nervous before writing mine, but I guess if you know your strengths and if you know how to if you know why you're doing what you're doing, it should be pretty easy for you to write it, because yeah, they just need to know that you know what you're doing. Get it? So it's pretty simple like that. Even if you don't know what you're doing, which was my situation, you need to express your interest in the subject that you're studying, and as long as that is valid, I'm pretty sure you'll get in. So it's not something you should stress over that much, but yeah, do give attention to it. It's not easy. Like, you need to give in your time, but it's not that difficult. Yeah. And anyways, 500 words. Once you're in uni, you'll realize 500 words is actually less. And the next one is references, which should be pretty easy if you've graduated and if you've not been mean to your teachers. Okay, guys, moving on to the fourth question. Pretty quick one. Um, how to choose your university. So through UCAS website, if you're applying for an undergraduate course, you have 5 choices. I'd say go for like one difficult one, 3 normal, and one which you're pretty sure you'll get into, or you can go for 2 difficult, 2 normal, and then one which you're definitely going to get into. So as I said, if you meet the basic requirements, you're most likely to get in. But how to choose your university. So I'm sure you know your academic level, like where you belong in the list, in the sense that, actually, you know what, I wasn't sure if I'd get into Manchester Uni, so yeah, I can't say if you would know, sorry. Yeah, so I think you just need, like, just never underestimate yourself, because that's what I did. I feel like I could have gone to use here, but I didn't, because I kind of put my predicted grades very low and I got like so much better. So yeah, never underestimate yourself. That okay, moving back to the question, how to choose your universities. I'd say you should look into the ranking of the university, but like that's very important, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not the only thing that matters actually, because based on my own personal experience, I would say that for my undergraduate course, because it was my first international exposure, I'm glad that I chose that university, because I got so much to learn. Like, it provides you with a very culturally diverse environment. I got to meet so many people from all over the world. The university had exceptional services, and they provide a very comforting environment, I would say, for us. And like, there was just so much to do, and it was a city life, so I loved that place. The reason I don't completely rely on ranking is because I myself might go to a university this year in UK which isn't ranked so well, but because I got into the course that I want, I'm very happy about it, and I'm still gonna go, even though its ranking is like much lower than Manchester, because I feel in the end the course that you do matters a lot more. And also, I've already gotten the international experience studying abroad in Manchester, so I don't think that's my priority right now. So yeah, I think if you know what you want to do in life, then any university will help you out in achieving that goal. But if you don't know what you want to do, then maybe the university ranking matters. That's what I think, but I'm not sure. So this is, I think, just listen to your gut. And okay, so to summarize, the 3 things that matter the most, which maybe you should consider, is the ranking, the services university offers, and the course you're studying, and what you want to do in the future. Like, just align and then just connect the dots and see what works for you. It's a little bit tough to decide, but yeah, I hope it helps you out. Okay, so to decide your firm choice, which is like the second part of your question, I guess you need to, like, if you're confused between 2 unis, just go and read blogs, watch people's blogs, videos, vlogs like this one, and see how they've lived their life. See what matters to you. Do you want to like live like Nottingham will be like in a small city, Manchester is a big city, London is an even bigger city, but London is more expensive. So you need to like identify the pros and cons, and then see the ranking, and I guess, and just look for resources and read. I guess that's what's gonna help you decide in the end. Okay, so once you get accepted and you decide to study abroad, you need to apply for a tier 4 visa. So the fifth question is going to be how to apply for your tier 4 visa. So I'm sure most of you guys must be aware that once you get an unconditional offer, the university gives you a CAS number, which is like the first thing required for you to apply for a tier 4 visa. And make sure that you apply for make sure that you get the CAS number from the university that you go to, not from some other university, because that's going to be invalid. Okay, so that's the first thing, your CAS number. The second thing is going to be, you need a certain amount of money for 28 consecutive days in your bank, which is either under your name or your parents' name, unless you have a scholarship. Get it? Like yeah, so it should be under your name or your parents' name, not their company's name, not their partner's name, on your parents' name. Remember that, guys. And for 28 consecutive days, the balance should not go below that certain amount, which is usually the tuition fee plus living cost. So that's gonna be like tuition fee plus around £10,000 more. And yeah, That's for the first year, not the entire 3 years. So that's another very, very important criteria. Like I actually my visa got rejected because of the second criteria, and but thankfully it overturned because there was some mistake on the officer's side. And if you guys want to know the full story, then watch my video on how I decided to study abroad on this channel. Moving on, the third and the fourth criteria would be including your certificate. Including your certificate as in your passing certificate, your IELTS certificate, and whatever it is that the university accepted you. Like whatever the university asked for, you need to submit those documents for your visa as well. And then the last one is going to be the fourth, and the final one is going to be your interview. You need to know why you want to study abroad, which could be exposure, which could be probably staying near your hometown or whatever, and yeah, you need to know why you want to study there, why you choose that particular course, and what are your intentions behind going and studying abroad. Yeah, everything is just pretty simple, but make sure you don't take those criteria lightly. Like make sure it's 28 days, make sure you submit the certificates, and make sure you get the right cash number. Like it's pretty straightforward, but some people still get confused. Okay, so the next one is going to be how long will you get the visa for, and what about the post-study opportunities. So the visa is going to last for the duration of your course plus 3 or 6 months, and actually 6 months. Sorry, for 6 months, and this was actually until last year, I guess, but now the rules have changed. Now, not now actually. I think students who start their course in 2020 are gonna get a 2-year post-study work visa, but with the situation around COVID-19, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I just hope it remains the same, because I want to go and I want the post-study work visa as well. I want to work in UK, so I just hope that's what it stays. And the last and final question for today, guys: how to prepare yourself for this journey. Okay, so as you all know, I'm a very dramatic person. I spoke about this in my last video, and I'd say firstly you need to give yourself time to settle in when you reach there, because you're in that phase where we have such raw emotions, like flowing in and out, and such a mess, so like just don't get negative. Like be prepared for that roller coaster ride, because it's going to be a hell lot of fun, but it's also going to have so many lows. But you don't need to like get depressed, because everything changes with time. You get better, you learn, and you grow. Okay, but to prepare yourself for this journey, firstly you need to sort out your accommodation. That's like the most basic thing. And when you sort out your accommodation details, you need to figure out when you reach there, you have your bed sheets, your pillows, you gotta arrange them. Just email your accommodation team and they'll help you out with everything that you need. But remember to email them. If you don't email them, they're not gonna reach out to you every time with such minute like details. Like these things you gotta figure it out. Take your utensils. You don't have to take everything, because you find everything for cheap in Poundland, in UK especially. But take like a pressure cooker maybe, or a pan, like just the basic things, so that you don't need to like rush out and buy everything in a hurry in the first 2 days, because you need time to like first settle in down. Yes, so figure out your accommodation, how you're gonna cook. You don't have to figure it all out, like it's not gonna be that hard. But yeah, just for the first 2 days you should know what you're doing. And then yeah, you should know where to collect your keys from when you reach the place, when you reach the airport. You should know where you have to go. And yeah, we live in a virtual world, guys, so connect with people on Instagram, on Facebook pages. Like there's so many Facebook pages for freshers that start universities every year. So just go join them, connect, share details of your course. You might just become friends with people before you even go there, before you even see them. So don't forget, it actually helps. I know so many people who became friends before they actually joined my course in 2016. So all these things matter. You feel more connected, you feel less lonely, and it just helps you out. And then you guys can help each other out, roam around the city together, and just have fun. and just get to know each other's stories. That in itself is interesting. For me, it is. I like getting to know people. It's just fun, you know. And I think I developed this after I been there. But yeah, before that I used to be very shy. I didn't care. Like maybe I did, but I was so shy, so I didn't even bother connecting. But now I realize that I love getting to know people's stories, getting to know people, what they think, how they think. Yeah, I guess these were like the most Google questions about studying abroad in the UK, and I've answered them in relation to my own experience. So I hope it helps you guys out. If you have any questions that you feel uncertain about right now, please drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. I can help you out with anything that you guys require. Just connect with me on Instagram, Harbeen1998, or drop your questions in the comments below, like I said before. And please guys, like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, great best of luck with your journey, and I hope you guys have a lifetime of an experience. And bye bye, take care, and bye bye.